You are now watching Game Point Sports Talk with an Edge.
Welcome to Game Point Sports.
I'm Robbie the Rockets.
And I'm M.GOODKNIGHT.
And this is Game Point. No fingerprints. Yay!
We in the house, man.
Tough Talk Tuesdays.
Tough Talk Tuesday.
Get deep down to the root.
See what's going on out here in the world. You know
yes, sir.
saying?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How you doing, brother? How you doing on this old Taco Tuesday, even though we ain't got no tacos, man? You know, my bad for not bringing the tacos, to the producers, to my, guys, man. I'm going to have to take care of y'all one day, surprise y'all one day. Understands me.
Well, don't call it Taco Tuesday till the tacos come on a Tuesday. That's all I'm really saying.
Taco Tuesday.
But, man, on a serious note, man, we gotta give a shout out, man, to a legend, man, in the boxing game. You got Marvin Hagler passed away, man. I believe at the age of 66. Record of 62, 3 and 2 draws, winning with 52 knockouts, undisputed middleweight champion from 1980 to 1987. Had a 7-year run, man, with the belt on lock, undisputed, 3 belts or whatever. One of the greatest to do it. Had one of the greatest fights of all time. It lasted 8 minutes with Tommy Hearns. Gave him the business in the 3rd round.
Man, that was a good fight. Good fight.
Great fight with Sugar Ray Leonard.
Him and Leonard.
What you thinking about my man, Marvelous Marvin?
Marvelous, the man, the myth, the legend, Hagler. Rest in peace, my brother. I seen some great, as a kid, I got an opportunity to watch you box, which, so, they, back then, they was doing bloody massacres when they was fighting. They don't box like that nowadays. They run away from each other. They was bashing each other's heads in back then. He was a head basher back then. But at the same time, man, rest in peace. Prayers go out to you and your family from Game Point and our network as well. And, sad day in boxing, man. One of the greatest.
Sad day, man. One of the greatest to ever do it, man. Prayers go up to his family. Prayers go up to everything with him, man. Hey, one of the greats. I'm glad I got to see him do his thing, man. So, and one thing about him, man, is like when he lost the fight to Sugar Ray, man, he just walked away, man. Said, man, I ain't doing this no more. And, he didn't have no regrets. Gave it his all out there. And like you say, a lot of them boxers don't do those type of things. They ain't out there giving their all like that, man. They trying to preserve something. Guys like that didn't hold back. So, shouts out to Hagler, and that's a big loss for the boxing world, man. I wish I could have seen more interviews with him and things like that.
Yeah.
But,
we were like little kids when he was pretty much, was in his prime. So, what I'm saying? We got to see him when he was at his greatest, So, that was a good, I'm glad we did have that opportunity. Like I said, man, some kids don't even know who Marvelous Marvin Hagler is. They don't even know who Mike Tyson is these days. So, they ain't sure don't know who he is, Sugar Ray Leonard. You know what I mean? Nobody will know who that is. If you wasn't if you wasn't raised in the 80s, you wouldn't know who them boxers were. Them was them 80s boxers. Them 90s boxers watered it down when it came with the Mike Tysons and them. They watered the boxing down a little bit. It got exciting, but it was a little bit watered down.
Well, it was exciting when Tyson was in there. You can't. After Tyson, when Lennox Lewis and all them, and after that, man, and that's when the excitement was lost. But you couldn't tell me you weren't on the edge of your seat when the Mike Tyson fight was about to go down.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I don't think it really lost excitement at that point. But a little bit later, man, it kind of did, man. And every once in a while, you see a great fight. You got the Gotti Ward's fights. You got some good fights that went down. But like we say, man, rest in peace to Marvelous Marvin Hagler.
The prayers go out to you and the family as well. And that was man, sad. Like I say, sad day in boxing. Like I said, that weight class, it came back up. With your Mayweathers and them.
Well, you gotta look, man. Before them, it was the heavyweights.
Yeah.
And then when they came in that era in the 80s, it was the middleweights, and you couldn't get no better than that.
Yeah.
So, shouts out to that whole class, man. So, Man, we got some local high school games that's going on right now,
With
man.
the Elite Eights, we got the Elite Eights.
We got the Elite Eight going on.
Who advanced to the Final Four? No, we got one.
GW. They edged out. GW edged out
Regis.
Regis, yes sir. Edged out Regis 52-54.
Wow,
Man,
that was kind of like an upset, huh?
In a banger, yes sir. And right now you got starting the third quarter, man. You got Rangeview losing by 1 to Rock Canyon.
Hey, Rock Canyon, they're a scary team to be in. They all Rock Canyon. Since I've been here, they always been around that championship, that Final Four. Them in that Thunder Ridge. My baby's about to Steph Curry and Klay Thompson.
Rock Canyon, man. They beat Overland, man, by 31 the other day.
Whoa, by 31?
By 31 the other day. They powered by a young man, by a couple young men, but a guard named Nick Fallon.
Okay.
He
in double digits. He averaging double digits.
A guard named Nick Fallon, man. He started off with 17 points in the first round, 35 points in the second round.
He went for 35.
Yeah. Then we gonna see what he gonna do. Rangeview, man, they got a trio of guards, man. Rangeview High School, Kay Palmer, DiMaggio Merritt, and Chris Watkins, man. The trio of guards, man, doing their thing. And Palmer, he leading them with 16 points per game. This is a game that's going to be ruled by pace, man. Rangeview wants to speed it up, and Rock Canyon wants to slow it down. And shouts out to George Washington High School for advancing to the Final Four out here in the Colorado basketball playoffs, 54-52 against against Regis.
Regis ranked higher than him this year.
Regis was 14-1, and George Washington was 11-3. Man, it was city versus suburb, public versus private. Man, whatever you want to call it, it was a showdown and hold down, and it went down. Shouts out to George Washington High School, Denver Public High Schools, where I was a part of, and for them doing their thing. So, shouts out to all that.
I like that. Oh, good old Denver Public High School.
We got a couple more games coming up a little bit later tonight. You got number one Cherry Creek playing Eagle Crest.
That's gonna be a good one.
And you got Chaparral and Thunder Ridge. Okay. But let me speak on that Cherry Creek Eagle Crest game real quick. Creek is trying to beat Eagle Crest for the third time this year. You know, they say it's always hard to beat the team for the third time. We watched the Saints. Couldn't beat the Buccaneers for the third time, so it's always hard to beat a team for the third time.
Well, I can say this, Good Night. In that game, it's gonna come down to coaching, and whatever coaching is better, gonna win that game. Because I got 3 shots at you, and I ain't figured it out of 3 shots. That means it's the coaching. It's not the athlete. They don't have the better team win. They don't have the athletes.
Better team usually wins.
You know what I'm saying? So
we got them 2 games coming up. Man, we gonna hit them with that's just a little bit of local news. Shouts out to Denver Broncos signing back Von Miller.
Vonnie stayed around, huh?
Yes, sir.
Vonnie stayed around.
We're gonna take a quick break, man. Introduce the guy who we got coming up next, man, and what he does. And
we got Richmond's finest, Rodney Alamo, coming up next after the break. We're gonna talk some of this Tough Talk Tuesday politics. Go deep to the roots. Y'all stay tuned. We'll be back. Game Point. We out.
My name is Haroon.
I'm John.
I'm Rashad.
And I'm Brandon.
Welcome to Kingdom Culture Godcast,
where we talk about kingdom, the Torah, his people, and the land.
You can check us out every Friday on the R Network. We don't do this for the culture, we do it for the kingdom. Shalom.
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 Excuse me. Sorry. Hey y'all, I'm Drea.
I'm Tay.
And I'm Julia.
This is Water Me Sis.
Water Me Sis is a live podcast on our network where we talk about everything from educational to spicy, and we uplift each other.
Make sure you catch us every Sunday at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. See you there.
Welcome back to Game Point.
I'm Robbie the Rockets.
And I'm M.GOODKNIGHT, man.
And this is Game Point. We back for the second quarter. No fingerprints. And we got Mr. Alamo coming up in a few minutes. Before we do, man, we want to thank y'all for, tuning in, liking, sharing. Make sure you comment. We're going to go deep into the roots of this. And
like, share, comment, repeat, and tweet.
Yes, sir.
Shouts out, man. How you doing, Mr. Rodney Alamo Brown?
And I'm doing wonderful, fellas. Thank you for allowing me to be on the broadcast this Tuesday evening.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now, we thank you for showing up, man, and giving us your time, man. So,
it's all love, brother.
Yes, sir. How you, go ahead, Robbie. What you got going on?
Yeah, man, like I said, we want to thank you for coming on. And we're going to get deep into something. My boy had a conversation he was looking at. He seen something online.
First of all, have you seen when the announcer for the Oklahoma
high school basketball announcer, did you see that when they was saying he called them when they kneeled down, he called them girls some out their name? Did you see that article?
Not recently. I think it was one a while ago with the basketball team Rutgers when he called them nappy head. You know what I mean? This was like in 2000 something. I haven't heard the recent situation in Oklahoma.
There was a recent girls basketball game where the announcer thought he turned off his mic, and the girls were kneeling during the national anthem, and he thought his mic was mute, and he said he hopes they get their ass kicked, and he called them the effing N-word. So it was a big old thing, and his name is Matt Rowan, and he blames the incident on his type 1 diabetes. He's a former youth pastor, like I say, who thought his mic was off, and he said he no excuse for his comments, and they never should have been uttered. He says his diabetes will sometimes cause him to say hurtful comments. He says he's not a racist, and he apologized for his comments. What do you just kind of think about that situation? I know it's like a slight overview of it real quick.
Well, first of all, when you in a line of duty, a line of work such as that, you have to be very cognitive of what you say and mindful of what you say. And so whether or not it's a hot mic or not, and this happens occasionally with a lot of broadcasters that say some things that's out of whack, but to blame it on his type 1 diabetes or type 2 diabetes, I think is very absurd. As an adult talking like that about children, I don't think he should ever touch a microphone ever again.
The same way, Mr. Alamo. We felt the same way about that. And
I can't hear you, brother.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, where you come from.
Okay, no problem. I'm Rodney Alamo Brown, a community advocate from the city of Richmond, California. I wear numerous hats. I also work for CBS Sports Digital Media and 247 Sports, BearTerritory.net. So I write football stories about the University of California at Berkeley football team. What I also do is, as a community advocate in the city of Richmond, California, I founded this outstanding community event we call Soulful Softball Sunday, shall I say community experience. And what we've been able to do for the past 5 years is men folk from different parts of Richmond together to come together for a day of reconciliation, atonement, and excitement. We give out scholarships to the young kids that's going off to college, that's making their headway in this world. We also honor individuals within the sector of our city who are doing wonderful unsung work that nobody really speaks about. And so we give them an opportunity to showcase what it is they've done by presenting them awards from the state of California, the county of Contra Costa, and also the United States Senator, Mark DeSaulnier. What we do is we bring about between 600 to 700 people together, man, in the middle of Richmond, California, which is Nickel Park, which is an enclave that we all used to partake in, whether it's baseball or whatever the case may be. We all, residents of Richmond, would all meet up at Nickel Park and have a fun-filled day. So we took it back to its inception where we play music from the 70s, we give out nice soul food, and again, we bring a team from Los Angeles, California to play against our team. And these brothers from Los Angeles, they're all former Crips and Bloods. So they kind of play a league down in Los Angeles like we do up in Richmond. And so we put an all-star team together. We bust them up, house them, and have a wonderful afternoon, or shall I say day, with those folks from Los Angeles. They bring a large contingency of about 300 people with them all the way up to Richmond, California. And so we played the game. They beat us once, and we beat them 2019. We didn't play last year based on the fact that they had the COVID-19 situation. But we're yearning to play again this year once they lift the bans and all that good stuff for the rubber match.
Now, man, tell us a little about your book, If Eyes Could Rewind, and what's that all about?
Yeah, I'm an award-winning author. I had written a book back in 2013 entitled If My Eyes Could Rewind, The Real Richmond, California Story. And what I did was I featured 74 Richmondites who went on and done wonderful things with their lives. Some currently still living in Richmond. Some folks are not living in Richmond. But it gives the young people a periodical to look at and to see of all the wonderful things folk have done within the sector of our city, because we hear a lot of bad stuff all the time, and the media always covers the bad. So I wanted to shine a light upon what was great about folks who came from our city. And then the young people can see that and say, hey, I want to do just like that person did, or I want to emulate what that person did. So it makes it a whole lot better for folk to see us in a positive light.
Yeah, I understand. And now I was going to say, now, what motivates you to do this? What's motivating you to go out there and bring that city together? What motivates you?
Well, I'm a son of a Black Panther Party member. My mother was a member back in the day, so I saw the likes of Huey P. Newton, Eldridge Cleaver, Bobby Seale, individuals like that, Elaine Brown, whom I stay in the same building with as we currently speak. So I've seen it as a young man growing up, as a child growing up, being able to want to emulate the things that they've done in terms of bringing continuity and continuity with the sector of the community. And so my whole ideology was, a lot of folk thought it was a weird science type idea to do something like Soulful Softball Sunday. But despite what they thought and how they felt, we were able to bring it into reality and make it happen. So that's where I get my motivation from, is from my mother.
And that too as well. So I know the feeling. That's how we on the same page there. And I was gonna say, how do you feel about mental health right now in these communities?
Great question, brother. I work in the mental health field, working with families and children within the sector of Richmond, California. And I do know, by virtue of this pandemic that is taking place, is having a very, very serious toll upon our children as well as our families. There was always some issues and contingencies with that before the pandemic even came along. And now this has just increased it even deeply, to the fact that, man, you see a lot of the kids just roaming the streets, doing whatever, unsupervised, riding on bicycles throughout the day. And then you have some kids recently in the city of Richmond, California, 2 young ladies that jumped on BART and was missing for numerous hours. And that was during school time. And so when you look at these situations that's transpiring, man, our children is really going through a whole bunch of stuff, man. And so I said about a year ago, Brother Robbie, I said, there's going to be a new diagnosis that's going to come about from this pandemic that's transpired. And so again, the cases are increasing. It's becoming very, very serious. There's a serious issue that's still running rampant within the sector of our community. So we're trying to get abreast of what's going on and get a hold of what's going on, and then be of service and a good to the folks within the sector of Richmond, California.
What you doing out there, man? Motivating them kids out there, motivating the people out there. How can we do it in other states? How can we open up like a soul food softball situation? How can we migrate it to other states? How can we do that?
I'm glad you asked that question, because it's very portable. We got brother Raynard out there in Los Angeles. He's hooked up with Pete Carroll in Seattle. So there's a thing called LA Base. They got an organization called LA's Best out there. And so Pete Carroll is the one who's their sponsor. So this thing that we're doing with Soulful Softball Sunday, man, we got plans of taking it up to Seattle as well. Of course, we're going to plan a game going to Los Angeles. We're going to do some stuff in Chicago. We're going to do some stuff in Houston. So the whole idea is to bring it to Colorado as well, Denver, Colorado as well. And it doesn't take a whole lot to do, right? It's not like it's an expensive thing to do. All it takes is collaboration amongst the masses to put it together. So it's very simplistic, man. The thing is portable. It's like a telephone booth. You know, we can pick it up and put it anywhere, brother.
Sir, yes, sir. Now, I was told, man, I see with Kaepernick and all that, you see the movement going on right now. How do you feel about what's going on with that? You know, they kneeling and all that. And do you think that they starting to see the light now on that note? I see.
Great question, brother. Yeah, back in 2016, as you remember, when Kaepernick first begun doing the kneeling and whatever the case may be, there was two brothers from Richmond, California, actually that was working with Kaepernick at that particular junction that came up with the ideology of doing something different to bring attention. Of course, in a mild spectrum, in a mild manner to do it, they came up with the idea was to just kneel. If anybody knows anything about military, when someone dies in the military, the first thing they do is they kneel to show respect to that individual. So most folk got it convoluted and twisted by thinking he was disrespecting the military when he was just actually following the same suit that folks in the military was doing. But the kneeling, as you've seen, has brought about a lot of yays and the yada nays. And, you had haters, you had people who was for it, people who was against it. And then the quote unquote boycotting of the NFL came about. There was a lot of things that came from it. And I hung around Kaepernick for a little while, a couple of little events he had given, Know Your Rights and all that campaign that he was doing. And I thought it was a wonderful thing to teach young folks what their rights was. And not just that, but to bring the awareness, to bring the attention into the fold so folk can understand what it is they do have in terms of rights. And so what you're seeing today is the residual effects of what he started in 2016. You look at Breonna Taylor, you look at Mike Brown, you look at all these individuals who have been killed by the police. You look at folks out here in California, Oscar Grant, individuals of that magnitude. And so now when you're looking at it, you're seeing the residual results of like, wow, this thing was more serious than what we thought it was.
And to piggyback on that, man, what do you think about how they are starting to prosecute and charge these officers now of murder and other type of things? Because back in the day, it would just be like a slap on the wrist. But now I believe due to things like this and people seeing it now, because back in the day, it would just be like a story that we had may said, that we had may seen and nobody really believed it. But now they get to see it. And now it brings a point to where officers are being charged. What do you think about that?
I think that's a wonderful thing now. I've always said accountability is the number one focus that should be on. Now, when they start taking folks' pension away from them, that's when we know it really hits home and some of this foolishness will stop. So like you said earlier, with the slap on the wrist and you get some administrative leave, quote unquote, vacation time, right? And then you still continue to get your pay. But I think once that comes into fruition, where they start taking folk pension, man, and you can't go across town to get another job, that's when all the foolishness will stop and come to a heed.
Now, on the political end, we have a woman out of the Bay Area, our first Black lady vice president. How do you feel about the politics in California on top of our new president?
Well, are we talking politics or are we talking politics? Anyway, I prefer not to talk about the latter, but I'll talk about politics, right? In that fashion. I think it's a good thing, man, to see a woman of that stature to be able to make it all the way to the White House and serve in that great capacity. It gives young girls, again, who come from communities like Richmond and Oakland, an opportunity to say that, hey, I can make it if I challenge myself, if I stay disciplined, if I do what I'm supposed to do, great things can happen in all aspects, right? And so when we see a sister like Kamala Harris, who's a friend of my daughter's, I haven't had the opportunity to meet Kamala, but I've heard wonderful things that my daughter has said about her when she's in her presence. So, those are great things, man. And we need to show that empowerment with our younger sisters. When I'm watching the Grammys the other day, man, I cut the daggone TV off. I know this is kind of getting off subject, but when you see the sisters up there doing that foolishness and gyrating and all that other woolly foo-foo stuff that they doing, and so you got young girls that's watching this and it's like, oh, the only way I can get me a Grammy or give me a man or give me some money is I got to jump up on that pole and do the fool, right? And so here's an alternative of something that combats what we've been seeing for such a long time in terms of what they call entertainment, which means to be sustained while our spirit enters.
I just what do you think about, like the NFL and the lack of Black executives, Black coaches, and Black people in leading positions? Like, what do you think can be done to try to get us in those positions? Seeming that we're like 80% of the NFL is Black people.
Well, when you talk about NFL, which stands for not for long, basically, and when you talk about having a career that may last about 3-4 years when you talk about the 80% of black players that's in the league. Then you talk about upper management, like an executive position that we don't see wholeheartedly. What is it, 4 NFL black coaches in the league? If I'm not mistaken, it may be less than that. I think it's really a slap in the face, and it's a disservice to those of those who have served as NFL players to say that they don't have the mental capacity to serve in an executive decision-making situation. And you look at that, man, and this conversation has continued when they brought Jay-Z in to kind of, weather the storm per se, and then get black folks these jobs when they come open. I'm talking about NFL coaching jobs first, right? When they're supposed to come up, it's supposed to be a fair play. But with Art Rooney had this this rule that was implemented that they would give black folks an opportunity. They had this thing where they would get these minority coaches. I don't like using the word minority, but these other coaches, whether black, Latino, or otherwise, and they would put them in these programs to teach them how to become head coaches. We don't see that much. I know the 49ers was one of the leading organizations that was doing it back in the day. And so when you get brothers, man, who we know that would be great executives, you look at Ozzie Newsome, who's been with Baltimore for years. That's probably the only one person. What's the other brother name? I can't think of his name right now, but he was with Oakland not too long ago. The light-skinned brother. I can't think of his name. But anyway, y'all probably know who I'm talking about. He was an executive, and he's in Miami now, I think. He's somewhere like Jacksonville or somewhere. I'm not sure where the brother is at. But McKenzie, Reggie McKenzie. That's who I'm talking about. Reggie McKenzie. So that's only 2 that I know about, man. Unless y'all know some other ones, I would love to know who it is, but we just don't see it for some dumb reason. I don't know what it is. Again, it's kind of like that plantation mentality, right? The overseer is up here, and then you got the field Negro down there. So it's an interesting dichotomy of what we're seeing. And to answer the latter portion of your question, I don't have the idea nor the ideology on how we can switch it unless we boycott sales and get our own thing.
Mm-hmm. Hey, and I had a partner, man. He was we were speaking on black ownership. In the NFL, and he said, why should they let us in their league when we should be able to try to go create our own leagues? He said that's the only way to create black ownership is to create your own thing. What you think? Anything like? And I don't think you can. I don't think it could happen, man. The NFL is too big to even try to combat that type of thing.
Well, it's not that the NFL is too big. The NFL owns 2 days, Sunday and Monday, right? The NFL really owns Monday Night Football and they own Sunday football, right? So when you think about a corporation that really runs things like that, what TV affiliate will give somebody else a TV contract that will combat the NFL's contract? So you're looking at billions upon dollars that's being spread and generated throughout the sector. I like to go back, man, if you really, really let me take you back to 1942 per se, 43, 44, and we talk about a guy named Jackie Robinson, right? Jackie Robinson single-handedly destroyed the Negro Baseball League. And here's why I say that. Had Jackie Robinson not vaulted to the Major League Baseball, the Negro Leagues probably would have still continued because the talent pool would have still stayed. So when you start seeing the Josh Gibsons leave and individuals like that vault to Major League Baseball, it started thinning out the talent pool in the Negro League. So what happens with that? It begins to deteriorate. And now we don't have a Negro League no more. I can't hear you, Rob. I can't hear you. I think y'all on mute. I can't hear you.
We got the next segment. Come on, man. If you can hold on real quick.
We're going into commercial. We're gonna keep you on through the whole thing. We'll just keep you on. We're gonna keep it flowing.
Yes, sir.
We're gonna keep it flowing. Just stay on. We need you. Stay on. We're just going into commercial.
All right, this is Game Point. We'll be right back. Yeah, we send it. No, I'll remove the link. We're gonna see you.
Grace Faye! Aaliyah! Yulia at our network.
Conversations for the youth, by the youth.
Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. Youth Media Yulia!
it's DJ K-Tone, DJ Squizzy Taylor. Make sure you check us out every Sunday. Digital Online Showcase on the R Network. That's AHRR Network. Follow, share, tag somebody.
You dig? Tune in. Yeah.
Welcome back to Game Point Sports. I'm M.GOODKNIGHT.
Robbie the Rockets.
Yes, sir, man. We do have Rodney Alamo Brown. We are here.
Getting ready to get him back on. But in a further note, tell us a little bit about what's going on in these sports before we get Alamo back on here, man.
Man, we're going to just get to it real quick, man. You got big news in free agency. You got big news in NFL free agency.
Yes, sir.
You talking about the New England Patriots trying to make a comeback, man.
Wow.
They done spent $232 million in the first day.
Wow.
Man, you got the quarterbacks, man. So all the quarterbacks are getting picked up. You got Brissett, he went to the Dolphins. Tyron Taylor to the Texans. You got Taysom Hill.
And Winston, they signed back.
They both signed back, so it's going to be a hell of a competition over there. You got Andy Dalton, he went to Chicago. And you got Fitzpatrick, he went to Washington. The only one left is Mitchell Trubisky.
Trubisky will probably go to the Jets. That's where you probably go to the Jets.
What did you say? Mitchell Trubisky going to go to the Jets?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
I think that's the only place. You know, look, Deshaun Watson gonna stay where he at. Your boy over there, Russell Wilson, staying where he at. It's hard to get a quarterback. Me and my buddy was talking. It's hard to get a quarterback at the caliber of a Deshaun Watson right now. What's out there? Trubisky's not better than this. Do you really think that the Saints? Do you really think that the Seattle's gonna get rid of their quarterback? Do you really think that Houston gonna get rid of their quarterback? What they gonna get out of that? There's no other quarterbacks on the market that's even on that level to play. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, who's gonna get it?
Like that's what I'm saying. If Houston was to get rid of Deshaun Watson, they would lose a lot of leverage. They won't have there's nothing out there to get. What other quarterbacks out there? Fitzpatrick going to the Washington team. I mean, they got Fitzpatrick out there. They got Taysom Hill. You cannot win a championship with none of those quarterbacks that just signed. The game.
Well, you could be competitive. And I think you could do something with a Jameis Winston, man. All you got to do is cut down the turnovers. The man has already had a 5,000-yard year. You know what I'm saying? But none of these guys are really stand out. But I'll give it to out of any of these guys. I'll give it to Jameis Winston. He had the chance to do the best.
Well, he got more to prove than all the rest of them.
I mean, he had a 5,000-yard season before with 30 touchdowns,
with 100 million
with 35 picks. He cuts down the picks, that gets him right. And when he was on pace, he was on pace with Peyton Manning and everything, and their careers ran parallel. They had about the same amount of interceptions, about the same amount of yards. So he was on pace. They shut him down for a year, and I hope he gets it right.
That journeyman quarterback Fitzpatrick probably fits everything.
I'm not even gonna go there. Shaquille Griffin, man, he went to the Jags. Hunter Henry went to the Pats. Pats making big moves, man. Nelson Aguilar went to the Pats. Who else went to the Pats? A few other players went. Jonnu Smith went to the Pats.
Hey, look, they got the receiving core now with Bourne and Nelson Aguilar. They don't have the quarterback that I don't think Cam Newton fit them, but we gonna see what he do.
That's what they got.
You know what I'm saying? They went and got a defensive end or whatever he was. They went and got a corner. So they trying to make moves. But I don't know.
Von Miller staying with the Broncos. Shaq Barrett and Gronkowski, they staying with the Bucks. Chiefs side guard Joe Thuney. On the wide receiver front, man, you got Juju, he's free. Kenny Galladay's free. T.Y. Hilton's free. Antonio Brown's free. Will Fuller's free. Curtis Samuel's free. Seems like the Patriots didn't like being 7-9, man. They trying to come back and come all the way back.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the retired Drew Brees, man, before we get back to doing what we doing, man. Is he a top 3 quarterback in your eyes, yeah or nay? If not, I'm going to try to convince you of if he is.
Drew Brees?
Drew Brees.
I think Drew Brees is a top 3 quarterback.
Okay, man. I thought you was going to say no.
Because I'm going to tell you why. You got the man, the GOAT, the legend, Tom the Great Brady. You got Peyton, touchdown Manning. And then you got people behind them too. You can't put Elway there. You can't put Joe Montana there. He's done more than them. He may have not won more than them, but he's done more than them. So when I look at it, he's the top 3. He's the third best quarterback of all time.
All right, I'm just going to hit you with a couple stats before we get back to doing what we was doing, man.
Okay.
So Drew Brees, passing yards. First, as of right now, Tom Brady be passing him soon in most of these records. But as he retired, he was first in passing yards with 80,358. The first person to get to 80,000 yards. 12 consecutive seasons of 4,000 yards. Missed the 13th by only 8 yards. He owns 5 of the 10 top passing yardage seasons in history. Out of the top 6 spots, he holds 4 of them. He has a total of 12 5,000 passing yard seasons, which leads the NFL. There's 12 total 5,000 yard passing seasons, and Brees has 5 of them himself. Only player with multiple 5,000 yard passing seasons. Passing completions, he's first in that with 7,142. He has the top 3 seasons in completions and the first player to get to 7,000.
Wow.
Record for consecutive games with 20 plus completions at 61. He has an NFL record of 63 games with 30 plus completions. 54 consecutive games with a TD, which is also a record, and he's the only player to have a touchdown in 45 consecutive games twice. So that's basically damn near 90 touchdowns, at least 90 touchdowns in a streak, man. So that's nuts right there.
Hey, that boy is an animal. He'd be first ballot Hall of Fame. I said, like I asked you, is he a Hall of Famer? He'll be first ballot Hall of Famer. You know, but at the same time, but at the same time, I don't know, man. Football is getting watered down now. It's not the same like it used to be. Quarterbacks are not like they used to be. You know how that go. But I was gonna say, some March Madness is coming up here in the next couple weeks, man. A couple days. Is you excited for tomorrow's game?
I'm always excited for the playing games. I like the new playing game that they added. I'm just ready, man. We missed it last year, so yeah, I'm stoked and ready this year. And what else was I about to say? I'm ready, man. I'm ready to beat you in the brackets. I'm ready to show you how to pick. And I'm ready just to show you what we do. I'm ready for our pool. I'm ready to win this money if possible, or let somebody else win this money. Man, I'm ready for game points to go all in.
Mm-hmm.
What you ready for, man?
I mean, I got a couple upsets, but we'll talk about that. Well, we can talk about it. We can talk about it real quick. I feel that it's gonna be a black college that's gonna upset and shock the nation.
Well, which one is it? Which one is it? Come on.
I'm going with Norfolk State.
Man, we're going to go to break real quick. And, hey, shout out to Norfolk State.
Shout out to Norfolk State.
We're going to come back, man, with the second part of our interview with Rodney Alamo Brown.
We'll be right back in a minute. No fingerprints. Yeah.
What's up, guys?
As always, it's your girl, Nadia.
Breezy B.
And Plain Dane.
And this is Youth Media.
Conversations for the youth, by the youth.
airing Wednesdays at 7 p.m.
Make sure you guys come out and watch. Thanks.
Hey, peace.
Excuse me. Sorry. Hey y'all, I'm Drea.
I'm Tay.
And I'm Julia.
This is Water Me Sis.
Water Me Sis is a live podcast on our network where we talk about everything from educational to spicy, and we uplift each other.
Make sure you catch us every Sunday at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time.
See you there.
Yes, sir.
That's Robbie the Rocket.
And that's M.GOODKNIGHT. And this is Game Point. And we back again. No fingerprints. Talking with our pad and pen. Talking to one of the, the greats out of Richmond, California. Loving to have him on the show, man. We're feeling that fire, brother. I love it. I'm glad you did this interview with us, man. It was the greatest thing could have happened to us over here on Game Point. You there, Mr. Alamo?
Oh, yes, sir. I'm definitely here, man.
Mr. Alamo, give me an upset. Give me a black college upset. Who you like over there, Mr. Alamo?
Hey, listen, I like Texas Southern opening up against Mount St. Mary's. I think Texas Southern, man, is too athletic for them, too fast. Them boys gonna shoot the lights out. They're gonna do what they do, man. It's gonna be a track meet, real talk. I heard you talk about Norfolk State too, and I know you said Norfolk State is your sleeper. I like Norfolk State too, right? Don't get it twisted, but we gonna see how it jump off. But I'm rooting for Texas Southern, man, to be honest with you. Go Tigers.
Well, we really didn't ask you. Now, tell me a little bit about more deeper into your life. Well, what you did in sports and high school and life in general, what brought you to today now. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I was a pretty good baseball player in high school. I got drafted by the Toronto Blue Jays in what they call the dispensatory draft. You have the draft first and then you have a draft second, right? And so I got drafted by Toronto. They offered me $2,500 and a cup of coffee, and I didn't sign. My mother wasn't gonna let me sign because she was looking futuristic of what my life was gonna be later on. Because there's so many different avenues you got to go through to get to the major leagues, 6 or 7, maybe 8 steps to get up there. And so my mother was looking long term. I enrolled at JC College. I went to CC. Played winter ball there, messed up my ankle, and my baseball career was cookies, right? It was curtains for me, right? I became a barber. I cut hair in the city of Richmond, California for 10 years. And then I went off for 17 years. And then I went off to Hawaii and cut hair for 10 years over there. So I had a 27-year stellar career cutting hair. I'm now retired and I'm on my second career, so to speak. So, I was a standing psychiatrist, an underpaid standing psychiatrist for so many years. And now, I'm doing something that ultimately led me to what I'm doing right now, and that's working with family and children. I was the first person from Richmond to make a rap song on wax called The Task Force. Brothers by the name of Marvin Saucer, Ramon Avalar, and myself, along with Peter Buffett, which is Warren Buffett's, the Oracle of Omaha, multi-billionaire son. Peter Buffett was our producer and engineer in San Francisco, California. So how I got into that was pretty interesting too, because I had been rapping for a long time, trying to get on like everybody else was trying to get on back in the 80s. And we talking 83, 82. I'm kind of aging myself, man, but I'm more closer to 60 than I am 20, and so is y'all. So don't look at me sideways, Rocket Robert, when I say this, but I'm gonna keep it 100 with you though. So what happened, man, I had got this phone call to go do an interview or an audition for this thing called the Pet Rock. And y'all might be too young to know about the Pet Rock. Maybe you do know about it. But anyway, it was this thing where you get this rock and you paint it any kind of way to be like your little pet friend, kind of thing like that. So I did the rapping version on the commercial. It was on MTV and different little TV shows. My voice, so it was a voice layover is what it was. Just of recent, man, I stopped getting checks. I was getting checks all the time, but just for doing my little rap part on there, right? So it kind of went on for a long period of time. We talking like 85, 86, Rob, when I was doing that, right? And so my rap career didn't last too long, man, about 2 or 3 years. And it was time to kind of get serious about life, right? And so in 2003, I left Richmond and went to Hawaii and stayed in Hawaii for about 10 years on a natural rehab assignment. You know, it wasn't no 12-step program, but it was about me just getting my life in order and getting my life back together. I'm a former alcoholic, so going to Hawaii really saved my life in a major way. And while I was there, I was doing concerts. I became a promoter, started working with some of the biggest promoters on the island. I did about 25 concerts collectively with them and about 10 Pro Bowl parties, man. So I was having the time of my life in Hawaii, brother. And I moved back to Richmond, well, Oakland, Bay Area, came back here in 2013 and been doing the community stuff ever since. But yeah. I also worked on a movie with Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore called 50 First Dates, right? I was a location management assistant on that movie. Didn't have no movie experience, but I'm gonna tell you a funny story how this happened, man. So when I moved to Hawaii, the brother, he promised me, yeah, man, you can have this chair. You can be working every day, man. It's all good. We need barbers, this, that, and the third. I get there, old boy only got me working 1 day a week. So I'm like, man, I got too much time on my hand. Yeah, I had too much time, right? You know, a cat gonna get idle mind is the devil's worship. Well, workshop. So I said, man, I got to find something to do. I didn't come here to hang out on the beach. So I enrolled in this film cinematography class that teaches you how to work on movies, how to work on movie sets. Anyway, I didn't get the job through the school, but I got the job because a brother walked in the shop that I was at. So the funny story was the brother who was working that day didn't want to work. So he hit me up. He said, hey, man, you want to take my place, man? I'm trying to get the day off. It was a Sunday. I was like, all right, man, I ain't doing nothing else. So I go suit up, right? Brother, first customer walking the door was Bones from the movie Training Day. So the brother said, hit my mustache. He had a bald head like you, Rob. He was rocking the bald head. He said, me just hit my mustache, right? So, you know, I asked anybody sit in my chair, what you do for a living? The brother said, man, I'm an actor. You know, I'm like, come on, man, cuz you ain't no actor. Cut this foolishness out, right? He said, no, for real, man. I'm an actor. I said, what's your name, brother? He said, man, my name Bones. So as he's saying who he was, the brother that was cutting hair next to me was nodding his head like, yeah, man, he ain't lying, right? So he throws in the tape from Training Day. I ain't even seen Training Day yet. Sure enough, he get to the part where old boy was at. It was him in the flesh. So he said, yeah, man, where you from, brother? I said, man, I'm from Richmond, California, man. He said, Richmond, you know OG Bobby Johnson? I said, yeah, it's my partner, man. I grew up with OG Bobby Johnson. We stayed in the townhouse together. He said, man, you lying, man. I'm gonna call him on the phone. He hit OG Bobby Johnson on the wire. OG Bobby Johnson said, man, where y'all? He said, you know some dude named Alamo? He said, Alamo, where y'all at, man? He said, man, we in Hawaii. He thought me and Bone was together, kicking in Hawaii. Right? He trying to figure out how I know Bone. I just met Bone. So we chopping it up, get off the phone with Glenn. He was in there with this Hawaiian dude, right? This local guy. And so he said, man, you know, I'm out here just kicking it, but you know, I do movies. I did Tears of the Sun out here too. So I got a whole bunch of friends. But my partner right here, man, he working with Adam Sandler. They getting ready to bring an $85 million film from Columbia Pictures out here. So I'm thinking the dude joking, show you how God worked, right? So anyway, I said, man, I just, you know, was doing a film cinematography class, man, learning about films and stuff. He said, well, today your lucky day. You got a resume? I said, no, I ain't got no resume, but I go get one. You know, we from Richmond. I go get one. Man, I got the resume. Dude told me to go to the Ilika Hotel, tell him I sent you. Gay old boy my resume. 3 days later, they hit me back. Hey, you ready? Man, I stay ready, so I ain't got to get ready. So that's how I was able, man, to work on the movie with Adam Sandler. I would pinch myself like I didn't believe it was true. But yeah, man, coolest dude you ever want to meet. Drew Barrymore was nice and sweet, man. Really, really nice young lady. So the film lasted for 4 months. We came and filmed in Vallejo at Marine World. Six Flags or whatever they call it nowadays. We filmed over there. We filmed in San Francisco and then we filmed up in Alaska for the ending of the shoot. And man, and so they was asking me, did I want to work on some more movies like 100 Yard, not 100 Yards. What was that called? The Last Yard, the 100, whatever they called it, The Last Yard. You know, it was a remake with Burt Reynolds. Yeah, so they did the remake with Nelly and all them. So he's asking me if I wanted to work on that movie, but I was like, nah, man, I'm gonna stay out here in Hawaii and do my thing, right? Because I had just got there, so I didn't want to be coming back and forth. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna post up for a minute and do my thing. But that's how it happened, man. That's the story of my life.
I mean, we got a comment on our thread, man. It says when you were talking about Jay-Z and his deal with the NFL, or whatever. So he says Hove got to deal with the FCC. They license all communication over all platforms, all including Facebook. You can only work for the feds and never own. These are federally governed communications contracts. The feds lend, they don't offer ownership. What do you think about that comment?
I think he's absolutely correct, 100% correct. Jay-Z did broker a deal with the NFL and, of course, the FCC, the Federal Communications Commission and all that. But when you look at it, though, and we talked about this earlier about ownership, right? Having ownership or having even stock in a major league franchise, such as an NFL team, I don't think that there's anybody that's black, really, that's involved in the NFL franchise. Correct me if I'm wrong.
You're correct.
You're correct. You're 100% correct.
Yeah, I know Magic got the Dodgers, right?
You might have a Venus and Serena Williams. You maybe have a couple people that have a small percentage with the Miami Dolphins, but not many.
LeBron just did one with the Boston Red Sox. I don't know if you've seen that. LeBron James just did one with the Boston Red Sox. So
it's a minority stake, right? It's not more than 51%. So it's not majority stake.
Mm-hmm. I mean, there's got to be a way for us to get into some type of upper level management. I mean, you got Ice Cube, who started the Big Three, who was doing this thing where COVID kind of slowed it down.
Right.
I mean, there has to be some type of way where we can start just getting more ownership, man, because we putting all the footwork in. I mean, it's just like that book, The $1 Million Slave. Like, man, it's like, oh yeah, they can afford to pay you millions, but these dudes is making billions off your back, your sweat, and your hard work. I want to figure out a way how we can get to the money.
Well, I think the only way it's gonna happen if you boycott Sal's. I mean, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I'm gonna put it in do the right thing terms. When they shut down the Carter with Sal couldn't make no more money, right? So you are the product. You're the viable product and the entity that's on the field. But let's just keep it 100. How many folk do you know in a literal sense that's gonna say, I'm gonna stop my bag from coming in because I'm living a certain lifestyle. I got to keep up this pretentious lifestyle. So if I don't play, I don't get paid, right? So that's the huge dilemma of trying to start a boycott with baseball players or football players or basketball players. Let's go to the NBA. Remember when they shut down the Carter for a day? Remember that? They said, you know what? On behalf of what's going on, we ain't playing. Well, the NBA lost a gang of money, but remember in their contract, they had a contract coming up. So the new contract is going to be reinstated. Therefore, they knew if they went out there and boycott any longer, that contract was going to be null and void. So we're dealing with schematics too, right? Everything is contractual obligation of how that contract is really set up. So there's a whole bunch of things that factor into the equation. There's a lot of intangibles that we probably don't know about, but it's easier said than done to just say, man, you know what? Deuces, I'm out. You dig what I'm saying?
I mean, my big thing, man, when Kaepernick was leading his whole when he was leading his whole movement, my big thinking was like the way to hit him and the way to hit him hard was to have like a small boycott on opening day, week 1. You keep it between all the players, and you show nobody shows up to the game. Nobody shows up to the field. And I just figured that's the way to hit them where it hurts, because you got to hit them in their pocket.
Right.
And if you have people there and you don't have a product to put on that field, I just feel that would have showed a statement of solidarity, and it would have hurt them in their pockets, and it would have had to force them to listen to a certain extent.
That's absolutely correct. But then you got to think about this too, brother. How many of those players will come in solidarity and do something like that, right? I mean, we talking schematics at this point. In theory, yeah, that sounds great, fantastic. I agree with everything you said. Next thing to do is the application of it. How do we apply that principle, what you just stipulated, to get these brothers to see the bigger picture, right? Because there's a really, really big picture here. You talk about products, well, you talked about advertisement, right? We all know with TV revenue comes advertisement. So there's a product that has to be sold. There was a long laundry list of products or companies that do business with the NFL in terms of product placement. So if those companies would have been boycotted, it would have had a much, much bigger impact, because those are the ones who are paying the TV syndicate television stations to put this particular commercial on TV to sell this product. Product sales. I mean, you're driven by sales.
All right, man. And You said you work with CBS 24/7. Like what does all that entail? What do you do with them?
Yeah, I'm a, what we call a content writer for CBS Sports Digital Media. So 247 Sports is owned by CBS Sports Digital Media. So I work with a company called BearTerritory.net. So I write football stories about the Cal football team, the University of California football team. Really is what we call segmented stories, right? I do documented segmented stories about the team. I also do post-game interviews or post-game play-by-play or playback or anything of that magnitude concerning what happened with the game.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. How was your experience? I see you broadcasted a couple professional and high school games, big games. How was that? How was that, broadcasting?
So let me share this unique story with you, man. I got a whole bunch of unique stories I can share with you guys, right? But this one is a true story. All of the ones I just told you was true, but this was the weirdest story. This is the weirdest thing ever happened to me, right? So I was volunteering for this all-star football team that came from the Bay Area to play some brothers down in Los Angeles, right? So the announcer who was announcing the game said, this brother right here, the guy who was playing, is getting ready to play in the Blue-Gray All-American Bowl at the Oakland Coliseum next week. So, my ears kind of perked up like, man, what Cuz talking about? So during the course of the game, I asked the young man, what was he talking about? And he explained it to me. So I says, okay, when I get to the house, I'm gonna Google it and find out more information. So I got the phone number. So I called the guy on the phone, and I just wanted to be the water boy, right? I wasn't really tripping. I'm just trying to do volunteer stuff, right? That's what I do. He says, whoa, hold on a sec, man. This is like 15 seconds in the conversation. He said, you my guy. Like, what you mean I'm your guy, man? What kind of funny dirty stuff you talking about? I'm your guy, right? And I'm about to hang the phone up, real talk. So he said, hey, what you doing right now? I said, man, I ain't really doing nothing. He said, can you get to Walnut Creek? I said, for what? He said, I want to meet you. I'm like, oh, man, I don't know, man. My Richmond antennas went up real high. So I says, all right. So I told my girl, right? She said, you should go. You should go. You don't know what it could be. You should go. You should go. So I'm like, okay, man, I'm going to take a chance. So I shoot out to Walnut Creek, meet the dude. He give me a long list of names. He says, you're going to be my PA announcer. I don't have a PA announcer for the game. This was Thursday. The game was Sunday. He said, learn all these names because you're going to be on the mic at the Coliseum. No experience, no nothing, man. Ain't never did nothing like this. I'm dead serious. I ain't never did nothing like this a day of my life. They throw me into the wolves, right? Now, peep game, check play. When I was a youngster, I used to have an NBC Sports little polo. I would put my jacket on with my little notepad, walk in the Coliseum like I really was about it. They never told me, hey, come back here. Didn't have no credentials, didn't have nothing. Just walk right in, watch the game, right? So I get my credentials to go in the Coliseum. I'm good to go. My man stopped me in my track. This ain't real, this fake. I'm like, no, man, look, I'm the PA announcer for the game. So I call my guy. He comes down. No, he cool, let him come on through, man. They sweated me a little bit. But anyway, so the first 3 minutes of the game, I'm going hard in the paint. The guys from ESPN right next to me. All right, this game is being recorded, being shown live on ESPN2. So timeout, my man said, hey, man, how long you been doing this? So it's about 3 minutes and 40 seconds. He said, no, I mean, like, how long you been doing this? I said, man, 3 minutes and 40 seconds. So cuz he tripping like, maybe he don't understand what I'm asking him. So I said, you mean how long I've been doing this professionally? He said, yeah, that's what I mean. I said, 3 minutes and 40 seconds. He said, there's no way humanly possible you've been doing this for 3 minutes and 40 seconds. But what he didn't know, what I did was when the guy hired me that Thursday, that Friday and Saturday, I was on YouTube studying how to say certain things, right? Getting acclimated to being up in that booth. So the butterflies kind of went awry when I got in there because I was already laced up on what to say. Bless his heart, Irv Cross, he just died recently. I don't know if you guys know who he is, right? I studied Irv Cross for 48 hours straight, just listening to his cadence and different stuff. I was doing play-by-play, stadium announcing, right? So I was listening to some guys who were stadium announcers, trying to figure out their little feel for how they do it, right? So when I got up in there, I was like a natural. So the dude was like, hey, man, listen, we want you to be with us every time we play a game. Now, this was 2017. I've been doing it now for 3 years. So each year they play at the Cowboy Stadium. I go to the Cowboy Stadium and announce the games and stuff like that. So that's kind of how I got up into that. It's the craziest thing. And so that led to me actually writing stories about local football teams in the area, Rob, as you will see me write different stuff, right? some guy who was working for, it was called Scott.com at that time. He saw some of my writings and offered me a job. I don't even have a journalism degree, right? He just offered me a job. I was like, hey, would you like to write for Scott.com? I was like, yeah, man, I love it. And so that's how I got it.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so man, look, man, it sounds like you got a lot of. You sound like you got a lot to talk, man. We would love for you to come on, man, to the show again, man, because man, you very interesting. I see y'all got the Soulful Softball Sunday.
I'm gonna have to sing you one. Give me your size.
Yeah, send it to her. Yeah, that's all we'll say.
I'm a medium.
We want to, the show. Send a couple of them to us.
But I want to I want you to send. I want to get with you personally, man. So I want to get the blueprint to what you're doing for that Soulful Softball Sunday, so we could bring something here like that to the Denver, Colorado area, man. Just so you can make it move and make it happen, man.
We moving. Alamo, we moving. I'm telling you, we moving.
I'm ready, brother.
We working right now.
We got some good brothers out here, man. That would love to link up, man.
And I love you to come on personally on the show, man. If you ever want to come to Denver, man, you're more than welcome to come on the show personally, man, and talk that politic, man. We can politic this, man.
I'm ready, brother.
Yes, I mean, and look, I got a question. Football starting out there, high school football. Is they gonna let fans come to the game?
No, sir.
No, sir. So none for the. Cause see, I was coming home. This coming to my school playing Diazza, so I was gonna come home and go to the game. We could have sat back and fellowship. Now my feelings is hurt now.
They might let you in. I mean, you the legend, Rocky Robert. They might let you in.
You know what I'm saying? They don't understand that out here. They think I'm lying because I look like this. You know what I'm saying?
No. Hey, Miguel, he was the dude, man. For real talk.
All right, man.
It ain't on me.
I'll just be giving them the business, man. I'll just be giving them the business, man. But like I say, man, we definitely want to link up with you, man. We definitely want to link up with you, man. See what we can do to bring that type of stuff to our area. You know what I'm saying? Because that type of thing is missing here. We want to make your brand bigger and better, man. And you can show us a lot of things, man. Look like you well knowledge, man, well versed, man. You done met all kind of people, man. And hey. Shout out to you, man.
We're gonna network that, man.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Love you,
bro. Love you too, man.
Power to the people. Give me your winner. Give me your winner. NCAA tournament. Give me your winner before we out of here.
Baylor Bears.
Baylor Bears. Man, that's a good one. And man, thank you for coming on the show, man. Get you again next time.
Once again, we want to thank you, man, and we will get you on here next time, man. Shouts out and thank you very much again. I can't thank you enough.
Peace, brother.
Thank you, brother.
Appreciate you.
All right.
Have a good one.
What?
We're about to take a quick break here on Game Point. Shouts out to Ronald Alamo Brown. Yeah, man, that was a great interview and great things.
Real Richmond.
Yes, DJ K-Tone, DJ Squizzy Taylor. Make sure you check us out every Sunday. Digital Online Showcase on the R Network. That's AHRR Network. Follow, share, tag somebody.
You dig? Tune in. Yeah.
Back to Game Point. I'm M.GOODKNIGHT.
Robbie the Rockets.
And that's No Fingerprints. It's the fourth quarter. Once again, we like to send shouts out to my man,
Rodney Alamo, real Richmond, original Richmond, a real brother, you know what I'm saying? All power to the people. Loved him. Great show.
Shouts out to Soulful Sundays. Man, great interview, man. That was a good show. That was a good find, man, that you brought for us, man.
Mm-hmm. And we got in Friday, for our Fab Five Fridays, we got a special guest. We got another special guest, one of the hoops own out of UNLV. Angie Dye will be on our show on Friday, so tune in. We can talk about, legends of basketball, girls basketball. So if you have any, friends and family want to tune in, like, share, comment, the whole nine. What else we got going on Good Night before we get Good Night up out of here?
Man, like, share, comment, repeat, tweet, like we always do about this time on the R Network. Man, we got Rainview. Whoa. Going to the Final Four. They joining George Washington to the Final Four. Look like it's gonna be some local city stuff going down, and I always got major love for that, because
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'd like to see teams. And
We need a DPS. We need a DPSer to win it this year, man. When the last time the DPS won it?
Well, DPS East wins it a lot.
Yeah, but they ain't won it since I've been here.
They won it since you've been here. You just don't know.
I don't remember.
You just don't.
In the
know.
last 7 years, they ain't won it. Since I've been going to the Final Four, East has not won it.
Okay, I'll let you say.
And they got that boy up out of Pepperdine. What's his name? Cody. He went to Eagle Crest. When in the last time Eagle Crest won it, and that was like 3 or 4 years ago. He's the number one top guard at Pepperdine. I don't know if they're in the tournament this year, but you know, pretty good.
Shouts out to Ramview and all my people that went to Rangeview. Shouts out to George Washington and all my people that went to George Washington.
Man, we got some tournament games tomorrow. We got Norfolk State versus Appalachian State.
I'm gonna go with Norfolk State.
We got Mount St. Mary's University versus Texas Southern.
Going with Texas Southern.
We got Michigan State versus UCLA. That's a banger right there.
Two great teams with great history are in the play-in game. So as you watch the NCAA tournament change.
Well, you know what I'm gonna say?
Who you got?
Michigan State, Big Ten, been playing tougher competition than the Pac-12. So I'm going with Michigan State in a dandy by 2.
I'm gonna go with the University of California, Los Angeles. I'm gonna stay West Coast.
You gonna stay West Coast on them?
Yes, sir.
And then we got Wichita State versus Drake. Wichita State, all of them, they call it the Shockers, man. They gonna shock the nation, man. Give me the Wichita State Shockers a little bit over
I'm
Drake.
definitely go to Wichita State. They probably got an all-black starting 5. So you know, I'm a ride with Wichita State. You know.
And now, good night, man. Well, you know, it's the tournament time. It's getting ready to get bust up. Give me your Final Four, man. Who you got, man?
Man, I'm gonna go with Gonzaga.
Okay.
Illinois.
Okay.
Who you got? And then
I got Gonzaga playing Ohio State in my 2. Gonzaga and Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
But then to win it all, the way it looks, Gonzaga got the easiest road to the championship. I got the Zags cutting down the net April 3rd.
Give me your Final Four though.
Final Four. I'm going Texas, Gonzaga, Ohio State, and Illinois.
I'm gonna go Baylor, Gonzaga, Illinois, and who you got over there? Look like you got Texas twice.
I'm Texas twice. Yeah, my upset of the day, them Georgetown Hoyas with old Patrick Ewing beating them Colorado Buffaloes. That's my upset of the day. That boy got them boys playing on an all-time high. They won a Big East championship since 2003.
Hey, man.
They ride on an all-time high. And you always, I'm going to give you the key to winning in these tournaments. The teams that win their conference tournament are hot. You kind of want to bet them teams. You don't want to bet against them teams because they hot. Teams that lost their conference tournament that's been playing some ball.
Colorado barely lost.
Like Villanova. Villanova is another one I'm looking at. Winthrop can beat Villanova.
Colorado barely lost, by 3 in their conference tournament, man, and they was on a little ride. That's gonna be a great game.
That's gonna be a great game, though.
Georgetown is one of my childhood favorites, man. So
hey, look, you got Patrick Ewing, over there. You got Juwan Howard over there in Michigan, and you still got your mob coaches. I don't know how Izzo snuck in there, but he snuck in there in a play-in game. But you got to keep the mob coaches. Calipari in there.
Calipari's back.
Calipari in there?
Yeah, whatever little school he's with, he's back. He's in there.
I think he was in Kentucky. No, you talking about Ion. You talking about Patino.
Yeah,
Rick Pitino.
Yeah,
Ion. They playing Alabama. Alabama giving them 17.5 points. Give me that 17.5 points, Bertino. Give me Bertino. Ricky Bertino. I love him.
Man.
I love him, Ricky Bertino. You back.
That's your boy?
Yes, sir. Yes, the mob coaches, man. They always linger around the tournament, the mob coaches. Krzyzewski, all of them.
I'm with you, man.
But, man, that was a great show, man. I appreciate you once again, Brother Alamo.
Oh, let me give you the score that Rangeview was. Rangeview 66 and Rock Canyon 55, and it was a banger.
It was a banger?
I guess it was a banger, but
tell you, yeah.
Shouts out to Rangeview. Shouts out to George Washington.
And shouts out to Rock Canyon, too, man. Great season through this pandemic. Y'all stuck through it. You know what I'm saying? I tip my hat off to y'all. You know, it's always next year, clean slate. Y'all be all right.
So
y'all gonna be okay.
You got 2 more games coming up. You got Creek versus Eagle Crest and Chaparral versus Thunder Ridge.
I like that Thunder Ridge, and I like that Eagle Crest busting Creek. And Creek got 5 Division I prospects.
Let me tell you, Creek.
Give me Creek.
Creek ain't gonna beat them for a 3rd time, so I'm gonna take Eagle Crest.
You can take Eagle Crest,
and then I'm gonna take Thunder Ridge on that one.
I like that Thunder Ridge.
That's Game Point Sports, man. Great show, man. Great interview. You know what I'm saying?
Tune in for the Fab 5 Friday.
Here on the R Network, we always like you to like, share, comment, repeat, tweet, and do it all again. Shouts out to Charged Up Films. Shouts out to Royal Gray Creative.
Yes, sir.
We out.
We out. No fingerprints.